Despite numerous signs that Xi Jinping's grip on the regime has loosened and his authority waned, Xi Jinping remains the most powerful figure in the CCP's leadership. Although many people quietly oppose him and anti Xi forces are growing, so far no one has been able to challenge him politically. However, there's one formidable enemy that could bring Xi Jinping down. That's his health. The only scenario that could cost him political power is a debilitating health crisis. Rumors have been swirling about him suffering a stroke during the CCP's third plenum last July, when he suddenly disappeared from public view and news headlines. Recently, reports from Beijing suggest that he may have suffered a second stroke. His health is the greatest source of instability in CCP politics, primarily because he has no clear successor. And the reality is simply that he can't find anyone that he likes and trusts. And it's not just him. From Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping to Jiang Zemin, Hu Jintao, no CCP leaders before Xi Jinping have named a successor whom they were happy with. Deng Xiaoping regretted choosing Jiang Zemin, but it was too late. And Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao must have regretted so much about their choice of Xi Jinping. Likewise, Xi Jinping faces the same challenge. And that's the reason why he doesn't have a successor. He's 72 years old and not in his best form, mentally and physically. Some say the regime is sitting on a time bomb. So, what will happen to the regime if Xi Jinping falls seriously ill? Well, if he suddenly falls gravely ill, uh, Premier Li Qiang will take over in the short term. As the head of the state council, Li is officially the second most powerful man in China because he runs the government. You see, as soon as Li Qiang takes over, I mean, the reason why he takes over or he can take over is because he ranks number two. That's like by default, right? But as soon as he takes over, that's when the real battle begins. Li has no political base of his own. Before becoming premier, he had no experience in Beijing's central government and no strong allies. He didn't come from a political family. He's not a princeling. And so his only qualification for the job was Xi Jinping's personal support. So without Xi Jinping, the premier Li Qiang is weak. So when Xi Jinping goes, so does Li's influence and power. The moment he takes power, the fight for the real control of the regime will erupt. So now let's talk about the situation with each of the four factions. The faction is led by children of prominent CCP leaders who have passed away, of course, but I have identified three for you, such as the son of Deng Xiaoping, Deng Pufang, the son of Liu Shaoqi, General Liu Yuan, and the son of Hu Yaobang, Hu Deping, and there are a few others. So Xi Jinping had relied on the support of these princelings when they first came to power. However, after securing his base, he has sidelined these princelings. As a result, these people are very upset. However, are the princelings interested in overthrowing Xi and take over? Not necessarily. The princelings have enjoyed their privileged status. They certainly understand the economic and political crisis China is in right now, and the problems are unsalvageable. They are unwilling to give up what they have and then take on the responsibility of cleaning up the mess Xi Jinping has created in the past 12 years. They also understand that it's not entirely Xi Jinping's fault because he inherited many problems that were covered up during Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao's time. The princelings and their families are the biggest beneficiaries during China's 4 decades of economic reforms. They're not interested in demolishing the CCP system to have a fundamental change. A few of them may want fundamental political reforms, but they are the minority. So even though many people in this group cannot stand Xi Jinping and oppose him feverishly, they won't jump in themselves because they don't want to be bothered with. They are more likely to rally behind someone who is willing to take on the challenge. Now let's talk about the Jiang Zemin faction. Well, this faction is Xi Jinping's biggest political enemy from day one. And since Jiang Zemin's death a few years ago, this faction is spearheaded by another princeling, Zheng Qinghong. This faction is notorious for staging a few coup attempts against Xi. One plan was carried out by Bo Xilai and Zhou Yongkang and was foiled when Bo's police chief defected to the U.S. consulate. And another was the financial coup against Xi Jinping right around his birthday in 2015, when the Chinese stock market crashed. Recently, the son of Bo Xilai spoke up. Last November, his name is Bo Guagua, that's his nickname. He made headline news when he flew to Taiwan to marry the granddaughter of a prominent Taiwanese political family. So videos from the wedding was leaked, and it was shared on social media platform. It showed Bo Guagua giving a speech at the wedding in which he defended his parents, portraying them as, quote, sacrificing for the people and the greater good and enduring humiliation for a higher cause. His father, in particular, was deeply involved in the Jiang Zemin's faction's attempted coup against Xi Jinping. And he was the mastermind behind the organ harvesting atrocities. Bo's wife was held responsible for the murder of British businessman Neil Haywood. Haywood was also her lover. Since his parents' arrest, the junior Bo has maintained an extremely low profile and has been living in Canada. So this marked the first time Bo made a comment about his parents. His speech was interpreted as a challenge to Xi Jinping's rule. People say it was unlikely that he acted alone. He could be making a statement on behalf of his father or his father's faction and possibly signaling his father's political comeback. But like I said, regardless of this effort, his parents don't have a good reputation. It would be a bigger nightmare if they returned. But the Jiang Zemin faction's biggest problem right now is they don't have any candidate who can challenge Xi Jinping. The Hu Jintao faction's most popular figure was the man Xi Jinping had been trying to suppress for 8 years. That's former Premier Li Keqiang. He died 2 years ago, shortly after retirement. When discussing succession plan for Hu Jintao, Hu himself wanted Li Keqiang to succeed him. Now, Jiang Zemin wanted Bo Xilai to succeed Hu Jintao. The two compromised and agreed to have Xi Jinping succeed Hu Jintao and have Li Keqiang become Xi Jinping's premier. Li Keqiang died on October 27, 2023. But the Hu Jintao faction has another individual who has gotten a lot of attention recently, and that is Hu Chunhua. Hu Chunhua was appointed as the sixth CCP leader by Hu Jintao to succeed Xi Jinping. And precisely because of this, Xi Jinping has never stopped trying to sideline Hu Chunhua, who is 11 years younger than Xi Jinping. So you see, to completely sideline Hu Chunhua, Xi Jinping would need strong evidence of corruption or political disloyalty. And authorities have been investigating many of Hu's former subordinates in内蒙古and Xinjiang, and some of them were indeed sentenced. However, Hu Zhenhua has carefully navigated the political landscape, staying quiet, avoiding troubles, avoiding controversies, and avoid criticizing the central leadership. However, in the second half of, that has been going on. And then in the second half of 2024, after Xi Jinping's rumored health crisis, Hu Zhenhua has made high-profile appearances. So here are some examples. In September 2024, he led a political advisory delegation to Inner Mongolia, a region where he once governed. The entire class of local officials came to, quote-unquote, welcome him. State media used the term 拜会, meaning paying respect, which is usually reserved for higher-ranking figures. And in November 2024, Wang Huning met with Singapore's leader, Li Xianlong, in Beijing. Mr. Li told Singaporean media that his trip to Beijing was to meet future Chinese leaders. Present at the meeting with Wang Huning was Hu Chunhua, making it obvious that he's now part of China's future leadership. Now, another significant event took place in late 2024 when Hu Chunhua attended the Imperial Springs International Forum in Madrid. This forum is usually attended by China's vice president. Now, the VP role under Xi Jinping has been mostly symbolic, but in the past, it was crucial. Both Hu Jintao and Xi Jinping served as vice president before becoming China's top leader. So if Hu Chunhua is given this position, it could send a strong signal of his future leadership role. Okay, now let's talk about the Xi Jinping faction. Within the Xi Jinping faction, there are three contenders: Premier Li Qiang, whom I have already mentioned, and there's Cai Qi. Let's talk about Ding Xuexiang because he's been in the news a lot lately. So Ding is the youngest member of the Politburo Standing Committee. And because of his age, some believe that he has always carried the name of being potentially Xi Jinping's successor. Now, he has weaknesses, and they are, other than playing the role of Xi Jinping's secretary or housekeeper, political housekeeper, he doesn't have any experience running a province or a central government agency. And also his crown prince status or his quasi crown prince status is recently being attacked. Rumors have been circulating since the end of last year that he's being investigated. And there are two recent absences that are very noticeable that indicate that he may be in trouble. So in 2025, he missed two important engagements. As the vice premier in charge of science and technology, he was absent from the AI Technology Summit held in Paris last week. Ding is also the vice premier overseeing culture, education, and sports, but he was absent from the opening ceremony of the 9th Asian Winter Games in Harbin on February the 7th. Previously, he had not missed a major sports event. So now let's talk about Cai Qi. He is known for his diehard loyalty to Xi Jinping, but this loyalty will become his liability and burdens him when Xi Jinping falls. Cai Qi has made too many enemies over the years because of his loyalty. So his prospect to succeed Xi Jinping isn't good. Now, Li Qiang's prospect is the strongest among the number of among the leaders in the Xi Jinping faction. So let's talk about who will be the next leader of China if Xi Jinping suddenly becomes ill. First of all, Xi Jinping's faction will be sidelined. Officials in the Xi faction will go down with Xi more or less, unless they can prove themselves worthy by turning against Xi Jinping. But this doesn't make them look good either. The only person from the Xi Jinping camp whom I think still has a chance is Li Qiang. The other ones won't even have a chance. However, Li Qiang will be up against the candidates from the other, supported by the other factions. Now, the Jiang Zemin faction is aggressive. They have always been aggressive, but their handicap is they don't have a candidate. Their candidate is locked up in the prison. Now, the princelings, like I said, aren't interested in competing for the job, but they will likely support someone that they like. And I think they are most likely to create an alliance with the Hu Jintao faction and support their candidate. So in that case, Hu Chunhua will most likely be the next CCP leader. Among all of his peers or contenders or competitors, Hu Chunhua has the most impressive credentials. He has governed the underdeveloped regions like Tibet and Inner Mongolia, and he has experiences handling ethnic tensions. He also has experiences in managing semi-developed industrial agricultural provinces like Hebei. He also has led an economically advanced province like Guangdong. In addition, he also has central government experience, serving as vice premier under Li Keqiang. Importantly, none of the regions that he led experienced major political crisis when he was the leader. And also, he has a few other advantages. One is his age. He's the youngest among them. uh, and the other advantages he has are his mentor, Hu Jintao, is still alive. And that's key. Um, and he also has other key supporters like Hu Jintao's premier Wen Jiabao, who is also alive. And also, another advantage is Li Keqiang's mysterious death will garner more support for him. And also, another reason is, according to people who know him, know Hu Chunhua, like his legal counsel, has said that Hu Chunhua is very smart and is a strategic thinker. He came from an ordinary family and he purely excelled in the CCP systems based on his academic excellence. And he was a high achiever in both high school and college. And he has an amazing ability to endure. And he displayed no will or determination and was completely mediocre in front of Xi Jinping. But his mediocrity saved him. But his legal counsel described him as having a political aspiration from a very young age. So maybe when Xi Jinping falls, it's his time.